also think that you need to be your authentic self. You need to be real. People need to know who you are and what you stand for, because then you're going to find the people that really matter and the people that you really do want to work with, because you're not going to want to work with somebody whose values are totally different from your own.
No.
And the more we know, the better we are. Of course, we don't need to put all of our dirty laundry out there for everyone to see. And we need to make sure that we maintain professionalism. And I think that people just don't think about it enough when they're posting on a personal page. It doesn't matter if it's personal or business. Have some common sense. Don't put all of your dirty laundry out there, and don't be Debbie Downer.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners, and you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today it's my pleasure to introduce you to Lisa Anhaiser, and we're going to be discussing goal setting strategies that work. And
Yes.
Lisa is a small business consultant bringing decades of management and sales experience to the table. She serves clients through support in employing creative ways to reach goals, develop strategic partnerships, and drive companies down a path to success. Lisa is the founder and president of LBL Event Rentals and also owns and operates Southern Hospitality Coffee Company and her consulting firm, Creating the Map. Welcome, Lisa, and thank you for joining me for round 2, because the first time didn't record. And thank you for reminding me of that.
Oh, well, thank you for having me again.
So, tell me a little bit more about what you are doing at the moment.
Well, at the moment, we're still sort of in quarantine. Events haven't quite taken off the way that we hoped they had. So, still working from home, consulting online, speaking remotely, and doing podcasts and webinars right now. So, staying busy, but
Well, that's
not in
good.
person.
Yeah, but I think hybrid is going to be the way of the future now. I think
I
a
think
lot
you're
of,
right.
I mean, we as business owners, or even in our private lives, didn't utilize the internet as much as we could have. In as far as communication was concerned, we were, used the internet for searching and social
Mm.
media, but I don't think we used it much in the way that it's being used at the moment. And
No, and look at the distances we can cover and talk to people continents away.
absolutely, absolutely, and I think honestly, it's such a I don't know, it you can meet people from all over the place and still feel like you're in the same room with them, even if you're not. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
so tell me a little bit more about when a business comes to its growth and its goals, what makes the world go around as far as that is concerned?
Well, I am a big proponent in the owners setting goals for themselves personally first before they ever go into the business, because it's so important for us to have a firm understanding about where we want to go as an owner and where we want to take our company. So, a lot of the things that I talk about with business owners is that they set those personal goals first and make them goals that translate into their entrepreneurship and into to their business. And then when they're ready, go into the business and help their employees find their personal goals. What is driving them? What is their why? Why are they here, and why do they want to be part of your team? Why do you need them as part of your team? Because then you're creating goals together that are attainable, reachable, and measurable, and then you're going to succeed.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people don't even know their why. They think they know their why, and they haven't really fully figured it out yet. And how can they, if they don't know their why, how can they translate that to their employees or whatever that work for them? So
right, because then you're just flying blind. You have no real direction, and how can you judge if the business is successful or not, because you don't even know what metrics you're comparing it against?
Absolutely. So tell me, how can someone work out what their why is?
Well, there are a lot of resources, especially online, and like you're talking about, information is so readily available for us now. Tony Robbins did a great podcast about finding your why. And I really enjoyed that. I think that people need to understand what it is that motivates them and drives them. Is it family? Is it money? Is it fame and glory? There are so many variables when you're talking about your success. And I think that normally people just automatically say, oh, well, it's for the, I do this because of the money. That's not really your why. We're all working, to pay the bills. But if that was the case, you'd do something much easier than owning your own business. You'd have a job where you get a steady paycheck and you don't take work home with you. But that's not why we do it. Why do we do it? Are we creating a legacy for our children? Do we want to provide more than just money? We want to provide a secure environment. We want to be able to pick and choose the hours that we work. Notice I didn't say spend more time at home, because if you own a business, you are not going to do that. You are going to work all the time because it's yours. So we want to find out what are the reasons that you're doing that, and then put together your own personal mission statement. Talk about what your why is, why you do the things that you do, and what are the attributes that you have that you bring to the table that make you different than someone else. Because a lot of people talk about the same thing, but unless you have that connection with someone you're working with, it doesn't really translate. So you need to find someone that you understand. And it's the same way when you pick your employees. If you're hiring someone just because of their track record, but you don't have a way that you mesh together, how are you going to work day in and day out? Because we spend more time with our employees at work than we do waking hours with our family at home. So we need to make it count.
Yeah, I agree totally. That's a really good way of putting it. A lot of other people beat around the bush about, finding your why, and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. But that's a really succinct explanation. Thank you for that. It's great.
Absolutely.
So, the reason, so personal and professional goals, why are they not so different?
Not so different because your end goal is, I'm sure if you own your own company, it is to be successful. And in your business life, your success translates back to your family, because if you know the statistics, and I'm sure that the statistics are the same probably there that they are here, we find that around 60+% of business owners use their own personal funds to start and run a business. And better than 65% of business owners have personal debt that is tied directly to their business. So when something like a pandemic happens and you don't have business savings, then you're drawing from your home savings. So obviously it's all interconnected, because if your business fails, then you're not bringing home money for the family. So you need to make sure that you are looking at your goals as a whole, not just personal goals and not just business goals. I've always heard, oh, leave the personal stuff at home. No, that doesn't work, because if you don't take the personal stuff to work, how are you going to find that clear path to the end?
Yeah, my friend, she's a business coach, and she always says that work is personal. So it's the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she used to chastise me for the things I used to post on my personal profile. She says, Rose, work is personal. Stop doing that.
Yes, I found that out.
Yeah, you've got to be so careful these days, because your ideal client might be, on your friends list and see something that you've posted and think, oh my God, that's a bit random. I don't want to work with you.
But I also think that you need to be your authentic self. You need to be real. People need to know who you are and what you stand for, because then you're going to find the people that really matter and the people that you really do want to work with, because you're not going to want to work with somebody whose values are totally different from your own.
No.
And the more we know, the better we are. Of course, we don't need to put all of our dirty laundry out there for everyone to see. And we need to make sure that we maintain professionalism. And I think that people just don't think about it enough when they're posting on a personal page. It doesn't matter if it's personal or business. Have some common sense. Don't put all of your dirty laundry out there, and don't be Debbie Downer, because nobody wants to work with a Debbie Downer.
No.
And, through the pandemic, I have seen so many people posting, oh, this is horrible. Oh, this is terrible. We'll never make it through. Well, what are you doing to your clients? People who already have deposits on the books, people who are thinking about working with you in the future. I don't know that I want to work with them, because if something else goes wrong, man, I don't even know if they'll be here. So you have to be careful what you put out there, because your friend is right. Work is personal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I remember when I first started on Facebook, like 2009 or something, and so many people were just airing all their crap, and it just,
yes.
Oh my God, it was just so painful. And I really thought about leaving, because it was just so yuck, Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's gotten a lot better over the years, thankfully.
Yes.
Anyway, so can you please explain to me what the easy steps are that people can take now when starting to bring about change in the immediate future of their business?
I think that the first thing you have to do is to sit down and write down what your why is. Think about what you bring to the table and create your personal mission statement. Then you can look at what you want to accomplish in your business and know that you can stay on track by remembering what your end goal is. And you want to make sure that you take care of the easy things first, because the easy things are going to give you something to celebrate. They're going to give you the forward motion that you need to continue on. And as you find success it's going to give you a greater resolve to keep moving forward. Then look at your 3 to 5 year goals. After you've handled that low hanging fruit, start planning those 3 to 5 year goals, and then start looking towards your retirement and make sure that you have some kind of an exit plan, an exit strategy in mind as well, so that you're always working for that end result of success. Because when we don't know where we're going, we have a tendency to find and reach for the shiny things, and that gets you off track. When you're constantly searching for better ways to make money, you might not even be in your niche anymore. You're grasping at straws. I hear people all the time saying throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's not a good way to be in business. You've got to have structure. You've got to have a driving force. You've got to know why you're doing it and where you're going.
Yeah, I'm so guilty of the shiny objects. Trust me,
I'm very bad.
I get distracted so easily. You know, I see the next app that I could, use in my business, and I think, oh, yes, I have to have that, and so then I spend, hours and hours and hours learning how to use it. And honestly, it's just not productive at all. But
Right down the rabbit hole.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I get lost down there quite often.
Oh, yes.
It's terrible. But anyway, we'll get off that. So, there's obviously winning goal setting strategies that people, and I know you've sort of alluded to those in previous comments, but how can anyone streamline their focus into actions that will help them reach their goals more quickly and more effectively?
Well, everyone talks about SMART goals, and it really, acronyms, we use them for everything, but SMART goals really are good. And this is, you've got to have specifics. You need a specific goal. It can't be just a dream. It has to have specific attributes. You have to know, if you want to lose weight, specifically how much do you want to lose? Then you need to have it be measurable. How are you going to measure what you're doing to see if you are attaining your goal? Then you need to know that it is achievable, because one thing you don't want to do, especially with your employees, is, reach for some pie in the sky number that you've pulled out of a hat, that you haven't thoroughly researched, that you don't know is specifically attainable. Then no one's going to buy into that goal, and they're not even going to try. So we need specific, measurable, attainable. Then we need to make sure that we have a time focus, that we're focusing on a specific amount of time that we're going to give ourselves to attain that goal. And we need to be flexible with ourselves. We can't say, oh, well, it didn't work. I tried, and just push it off. No. Why didn't it work? You knew that you had specifics. You knew that it was attainable, achievable. You knew you had measures in place. You knew that you had key steps that you needed to take, and you knew you had a timetable. But what was it that you didn't plan for? Was it the people, not having the right people in place? Was it not knowing where you were starting from and having prerequisites that you had to do before you started on that goal? So all of those things are key. And then you just really have to know that you've got to give yourself a free pass. You can't think that just because it didn't work the first time that it's not good. I mean, how many lessons do we learn from failure? every failure is a teachable moment. And that's especially true for our staff and our employees. When something goes wrong, then stand up and say, I am the owner. It's my fault. Um, I didn't check and make sure that we were going in the right direction. You need to inspect what you expect. You need to always be checking to be sure that everyone is on the same page so that you're all working for the same thing. There were a lot of times that, I thought, oh, we're really going to knock this out. Everybody knows what they're doing. So I didn't bother to go to the back room and check. And someone's measurements were off by 4 inches. Well, if I had gone back and checked right away, I would have known. And instead, everything's cut wrong. Now we've made all of these chair covers and they're 2 inches too short. All the way around. And whose fault is it? It's mine. It's not the person who cut it. They were doing what they thought was correct. I didn't go back and check to make sure that we both understood what the parameters of the goal was. So that's me. I need to make sure that we are all operating with the same game plan and that we are all moving in the same direction toward the same goal.
Absolutely. So it's like, with innovation and change, there's like 4 cycles, 5 steps to it, and they escape me at the moment. But, one of those things is to, check before you go to the next step, before your things change, because if you don't check, you can't rinse and repeat, can you?
No.
You need to find out. You need to find out where it's gone wrong. So and it is ultimately the owner's responsibility, or the employer's, because he's the one who's made the plan or the goal in the first place. So
yes, and he knows what he ultimately expects. Carpenters always say, measure twice, cut once, because once it's cut, you can't go back.
It's like hairdressers, isn't it? You think,
yes,
you put your trust in a hairdresser, and my goodness, if they make a mistake, you've lost all your hair. Wow.
Yes, it'll grow back, but it's going to take a while.
Yes. Oh no, I wouldn't like that very much at all. But anyway, we won't go there either. So, where can people find you, Lisa?
You can find me on Instagram, Lisa_Anhaiser. If you see a Lisa Anhaiser and she's not me, it's probably my sister-in-law. So
you've got a sister-in-law named Lisa as well.
Yes. Wow. And you can also find me on Facebook at Creating the Map, and my email, lisa@creatingthemap.com.
Cool. Any wise words to finish up with? Have you written a book or anything?
Actually, I am a few chapters in. I'm writing one now, taking advantage of quarantine to get some things done.
Well done.
So, yeah, I got my certification with the National Association of Catering and Events as a CPCE during quarantine, and I started my coffee business online because we lost our space, and now I have started my book. So they can also read a lot of the things that I have on the site, a lot of articles that we've done, and a lot of them talk about, what is your why, finding your purpose, writing your mission statement, and then setting goals that translate.
Absolutely. That sounds wonderful. That all those will be in the show notes anyway, so people can go and find you there. So any last words before we go, Lisa?
No, I just think that everybody needs to start looking at what they've got planned for the rest of the year, because I think once we get to summer, that we're really going to get rolling again. And now is the best time to be looking at your goals, especially if you haven't done it before, because this is like a clean slate going back into your business. So why not take this opportunity to really do the things that you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, we're lucky here in Australia because we're out of lockdown everywhere now. All the states are open, and so we've got free
Oh, that's
travel.
excellent.
Yeah, so we just can't travel overseas yet, but except we can to New Zealand. That started.
Because they're also doing
Yeah,
really well.
yeah. So we can travel there, and I think Singapore's next for us. We're
Oh,
not sure
excellent.
just yet. So yeah, it's slowly but surely. But yeah, we'll get there. The world will get there eventually.
We will. We will.
And this takes some
And we need to
time.
carry these lessons forward
Absolutely.
because we've learned so much.
Yeah, and I think we've learned a lot about ourselves as individuals too.
Yes.
Through all of this. Before we were just so busy spending time with other people that we, didn't reflect on ourselves. And I think a lot of us have had to look inwards to keep ourselves from, getting depressed and all those sorts of things because
Yes.
it's been tough for a lot of people. But
It has very
yeah,
much.
I think the ones that have, managed to do their reflection is, they're going to come out on top in the end.
Absolutely.
All right, Lisa, thank you so much for your time, and please enjoy your springtime. So it'll be lovely over
Yes.
there.
It's beautiful.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk
Thank
again.
you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye.